set. You ready? Hey, all you saints and sinners. Welcome to a brand new spanking episode of Confessions of a DIY Musician. I actually think it's brand spanking new, but today we new, and we spanking.
Brand.
Ain't that right?
Raisin brand.
Raisin brand, spanking brand, and new brand.
The Crush Podcast.
Crush Podcast. Anyways, we're going to bring it all back. We are here today to talk about part 2 of Reflections. No, not volume 2 of Reflections. If you've heard, we are coming out with a second volume of our new EP, Reflections. But on top of that, we are just talking about the EP that came out just a couple weeks ago and dive a little bit deeper than we did previously on each song. Give you a real good scope of each song that happened, how it came about, what it means to us, and maybe some deep dive into what you may think as well. So, the first song on that record is Yeah, You Know, Who Are You Now, which is the brand new song, the most new song of Marina City. Before we talk about the meaning of it, let's start out with Toter, who brought the riff to the band. So, Toter, why don't you tell us a little bit about what got you inspired about that riff and why you brought that to us?
Yeah. So that riff, man, I was just chilling in my voice memos for the longest of times, and it was actually like it was an actual voice memo. Like I would voice it with my voice. How many times can I say voice in a sentence? But yeah, so that's like pretty much how I like write my music. I would first, the idea comes to my head, I'd record it with my voice. Again, if I have a guitar, sure, I'll do the guitar. But most of the time, I'm out and about. So
Wait, hold on. You sing the riff
Yeah.
and then you learn it on guitar?
So I do a 4 count so I can tell the BPM
Okay.
beforehand. And then once I'm done singing the riff, I would write down like what I think, like just I'll be like, oh, the second part, do a variation, So like I pretty much for later. These are notes for myself for later, right? So
Brian, did you know he did this? I didn't know he did this.
Well, if you listen to the first podcast that we
I
did
didn't
about
listen.
this, he does bring this up.
Yeah.
But
Why
go
didn't I
ahead.
flag that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right.
So I'm just
We
like,
did not talk. He did just talk about it and just went under the rug.
Yeah.
But when I was listening to it, I was like, wow, that is pretty cool.
yeah. So I'm just like da 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 da, whatever, and then months went by because that's just how it is, And then when it came time that we needed riffs for the band for the new songs, I went into my trusty voice memos. I saw something labeled riff. I clicked it and I was like, you know what? That sounds pretty good. Like I reminded myself of the riff. You know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know. I didn't,
So, but like, how do you go from making a voice note? Like, how did you go? That sounds good. Did you hear something? Was there something in your like, ooh, I want to make a riff like that?
Yeah, for sure. So it's not usually the final product, of course. It's just the demo, and I don't even exactly remember if the riff is exactly what it was, like in terms of what it is now versus what it was. But there's definitely that like slide part, da 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 da. Like I'll take that and I'll be like, all right, that sounds cool to me, and then I'll go around that part and then I'll work around it. You know what I mean? So that's how that riff really became about, and put some distortion on it. And Who Are You Now is here.
And so everything starts with the riffs, and then the chords and everything come from there.
Yeah. Then the chords came out. Well, pretty much that song actually, that might be the only Marina City song where you can legitimately play the riff on every single part, like the verse, the chorus, the bridge, the ending, and it'll be fine. So yeah, and then after that we did like in terms of the chords, I mean, what did we do? Did we switch the chords in the verse or something like that?
Yeah, I feel like I remember this being one of the first songs we wrote, the three of us in a room.
Yes.
It was, yeah. And if you listen to the first podcast, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, were you even in the conversation?
Yeah, I don't remember. Dude, it was a long time ago.
It was.
I ate too much Halloween candy.
The last time we did this last podcast about that, I was so stoked about the Bears. I was wearing like a Bears jersey, and now we don't have to talk about it. Like it's just went from. But
we can talk
so
about
much has changed.
The Cubs.
Sure, we can always talk about the Cubs.
What about the White Sox?
Why?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, we don't even know if they're going to be a team.
I mean, that's true. They could be the Nashville Stars.
They could be.
But I do want to go a little bit deeper on the voice note thing because, for me, I will get inspired by songs all the time and I'll voice note it. And usually what I do is like, I may find lyrics and alter a melody of something that I really liked. Someone else did something. So like I may listen to a song and be like, ooh, I really love that melody. I want to try that. And so I almost make some new lyrics that try to fit that melody. But I know that when I make new lyrics, the melody will alter. And then when all of a sudden you guys come with like different chords and stuff like that, that obviously is not the same chords of the song I was thinking. And then all of a sudden that original idea I was thinking is completely unrecognizable, but it became something new and unique.
What does that do to you lyrically?
Well, so melodies and lyrics are definitely different for me. So with the melody, that's how I kind of base things off of. Like a melody usually comes from what you guys bring first. And if I can find a melody first that I really like, then the lyrics come. And then usually, and I kind of talked about this in the last part, is that the lyrics will like spill out. Like all of a sudden I say a theme, I say a line that I'm like, that was actually cool. Let me see if I can dig deeper on that. And I sometimes believe that it's like the subconscious Ryan speaking, like you want to sing about this specific thing. And maybe I didn't even think that it was something that I thought was important to me to want to sing about or whatever. But every song, even if a lot of our songs could be made up stories of something, they still are real emotions and are still real themes that maybe I'm going through or you guys are going through or past members are going through or people that I'm really close with are going through. And maybe I just make a story that is made up on that, but it's about something that is not made up, so.
Yeah, it's right what you know, right?
Yeah, right. So when you guys are talking about melody-wise, before I get deep in the lyrics here, a lot of the times, a lot of ideas that I come up with are stuff that I've heard in other songs, and I don't even want to tell you guys what songs I'm referencing because I don't want you guys to start listening to those songs and then be like, that's what we got to do. No, like, I got this idea. If I bring it to you, what do you bring? And then you're like, oh, all of a sudden now that idea that I originally thought of that I was stealing from somebody else is completely unrecognizable.
I do think that's a good point. I think it's probably a good thing overall for everyone to keep in mind when they're songwriting is to like clear your mind of every song that exists.
Yeah.
Just don't say it out loud because as soon as you say it out loud, then you've forced a direction for everybody.
Exactly.
And for yourself.
So every time I bring something to you guys, there's initial idea, and I do not want to. Sometimes I know if I tell you guys the artist that I'm thinking, you guys may even be like, I don't really like that artist, so I don't really want to mess with that. And so I'm like, if I come up and like, here's an idea, and then you guys are like, okay, cool, I bring it this, and then all of a sudden it's something different. So, so who are you now with this specific thing? You are right that it was the first song as the three of us kind of writing together. He brings this riff over. We spoke about in the last episode that it was basically it took us a long time, a few different writing sessions to build this out. But before we dive deeper into the lyrics on that, and when I was going through, was there a song or something that you were referencing or inspired by that made you think of the tone and the production of what it should do?
Honestly, not really.
Yeah, something completely unique.
I don't know that I would go that far. I think that everything is inspired by something.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anything specific in mind. I just knew where I didn't want it to go.
Yeah.
And it was going to be really easy for it to be active rock.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was pushing it in just any other direction than that and just seeing what fit and kind of following those rabbit holes.
Yeah. And that's, you'll bring in the active rock to it. How can we make it poppy? How can we make it more indie or more alternative? So lyrically wise and melody wise, I feel like this song, when we were writing this, I was going through some wild stuff that was happening in my life that I had just lost a job that I was working for 8 years. And relationships were altering, things were changing, and it felt like there was some backstabbing and there may have been some like non-truthful things that were happening to sometimes like when people want to say goodbye, it's hard for someone to say goodbye. So they may make it easier for them to say goodbye by making up the story that the other person was actually evil or was a villain. And so getting rid of them in my life is a positive, and in that way, it's easier for me to say goodbye. So with that being said, are you better off now? Are you better? And I think sometimes it's not even like a song that I'm like super mad about. It's actually a sad song. It's not an angry song. It's like, so did you find the thing you were looking for that you couldn't have with what we were doing? Did you find, are you better off like you said you would be? And I wonder, and I think that everyone can wonder that in any kind of relationship.
Yeah, to me, the song is very much about self-reflection, or maybe lack thereof.
Yeah.
Where it's I think coming out of any relationship, you have those heated emotions of I'm in the right, what I'm doing is right. But it's important to step back and be like, well, I wasn't perfect. Where are my shortcomings in the downfall of this relationship? So I think, to me, that's what the song is about, is like having the ability, or at least maybe working towards the ability to be able to self-assess. Or pointing out someone's ability or lack of ability to self-assess.
Yeah, and I think in the second verse, I'm talking about like, well, maybe it wasn't as strong as we thought it was. Maybe it was. Yeah. Maybe there was a lot of issues underlying. I mean, we crumbled at the slight decline, and we didn't really have much of a spine. Maybe it was broken far before that. And so I think that anyone in any relationship can look at this song and just, again, I don't even think it's a sarcastic song, which it can be read that way. And if you feel like it's sarcasm and you're like, are you doing better? And it's not. It's more like I'm genuinely asking, like, did it work out? Because I'm still kind of hurt that it didn't work out for all of us to be part of it. Mm-hmm. So that is, who are you now? Do you want to say anything before we move to Tanzania?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, how do you connect music and lyrics? How do you, when you hear a song, when you hear a demo for us, and you have to write lyrics, do you first listen to the song and try to get a vibe of what comes to your head?
Yeah.
Or is it like a voice memos thing where you look into your trusty folder of lyrics and ideas?
Yeah.
Or do you listen to the vibe of the song and you're like, I get the feeling of such and such?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything that you just said. I have this like note on my phone called orphan lyrics, and I'll just like write a bunch of lyrics that I think are really cool. Maybe they're poems, maybe they're short stories. And then if I ever need something, I go in my bag of tricks and pull it out and be like, ooh, let's do that. And sometimes it's about, like I kind of mentioned, that maybe it's a phrase that I keep saying while I'm kind of figuring out melodies. I'm like, ooh, I got to sing about that. Or it's like, I really want to sing about this right now. I really got to get this off my chest. And this feels like the vehicle to do that. And this song felt big and anthemic and heavy, whether it's angry, and I can show that, because I mean, I'm not really angry in the song, disappointed maybe. It's more like you're broken, feel hurt, and I want to be able to show that. And I feel like that you can hear that in this song.
You're not mad, you're disappointed.
Yeah.
This is Ryan's dad record.
Yeah, this dad record. Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say that there's a lot of the songs that we've been writing is just a lot of introspective on that. But all in all, I felt that this song, there could be grit to it, there was sadness to it, there could be some longing to it, and and the melody that I was kind of piecing together felt that way, and the idea of wondering if someone is better without you came to my head, and I think that it just kind of snowballs into that. But what I will say is that I struggle writing lyrics in a group setting when we do like co-writes and stuff like that, because I feel like my best writing is when I'm alone and I'm trying different things over and over again, and I'm not afraid to like just blurt it out and just see if I can fix that And like when I'm driving in a car,
hey, write
I'm
something.
Thinking of my lyrics.
Hey, write something.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, write something. You should write something. Right.
Like I always have to have some kind of theme or some idea or some cool lyrics to come to a writing session instead of being like, all right, let's see what happens. And then everyone's like, well, what do you think? And like, I don't really like that lyric. And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to like get it out.
Yeah.
And they're like, try something different. I'm like, fuck, let me just like get this out before you like end this idea on me. And then it would, how many times from this record or in anything that we've done where if I would have stopped after we were just like, I don't like how you phrased that. And that's fine, not like in the phrase or whatever, like fix it, that's totally fine. But sometimes I'm just like trying to find how I can fit this all in like this song. And Fall Out Boy, Pete Wentz will write a whole song on lyrics and then give it to Patrick. And then Patrick will have to write an entire instrumental and melody line based off the lyrics. And when Patrick goes, oh, I want to like fix this up, I want to like sing this in a different way, people will be like, no, I don't care if it doesn't rhyme. I don't care if there's not the same amount of syllables in each line. You fix it that way. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's something how you should do it. And there's only one Fall Out Boy that can make that really happen. But I always thought that was really interesting.
So my question for you is, when you have, when you have these sort of lightning bolt inspiration moments where you keep repeating the same melody or the same phrase lyrically, how do you differentiate between, all right, this is what I want to sing about and this is what's actually good to sing about or how I want to sing this versus this is the low-hanging fruit? Do you have that internal, like, do you wrestle with that at all? Do you go, oh, is this like too easy? Or is this the right thing?
Sometimes it could be both. Sometimes I actually think I struggle with the low-hanging fruit more now than I did previously because I feel like I want to get better as a lyricist and as a poet now than I've ever been. So sometimes, I mean, I'm kind of struggling this right now with a song that we're writing for Reflections Volume 2, where I had this chorus was done, and I was trying to write something else, and then our producers are like, oh, I still like number one, the version number one. But I'm like, well, that's cool. I just feel like the version number 2 spoke more to me and about things I want to talk about now than maybe version 1. And so now I'm kind of going back and forth with how can I fit version 1 and the melody and the lyrics, because that's the reason why they want to pick this song, into what I feel is more vulnerable to me that I want to talk about. And I'm going to show that to you guys at some point tonight or whatever. And it's not easy, and you guys may still go, it's still not it. But I am working on lyrics more now than I've ever done before. And part of that is because we've done this for so long that I want to push myself. And all the other part of that is that I'm 31 and I want these songs to feel like not only is it mature for me to sing now, but maybe from years from now, and also that maybe younger people can like it too. You know, we kind of go back and forth. This is a truth bomb right here. We go back and forth about our old music. And if you've listened to Marina City for a long period of time, you know that we've had numerous EPs that you can actually listen to on marinacity.bandcamp.com. But a lot of people would be like, well, where's the Spotify? Where's the, all that? Where's Apple Music?
It's gone. It's never coming back.
It's gone, and it's probably never coming back. It's not. But you can get it on Bandcamp. We talked about re-releasing a few songs. And we may still do that one day, and I don't want to close that door. But one thing that I keep going back with is that I've been pushing myself lyrically and melodically, and I know you guys have been doing the same thing with music, that re-releasing a song that we made as juveniles, as 18 or something like that, it's hard for me to be like, well, I've been doing this, and now I got to go sing these lyrics that don't feel as good as I can say it now. And so maybe I'll just write a song that mirrors that idea, but just said better. And I don't know. Maybe that's the artist in me versus the fan. And the fan's like, it says everything that I need. But as much as we do it for you, we do it for ourselves too. So I got to figure out how I'm balancing that.
Yeah. Art is a selfish endeavor.
Yeah.
It really is.
So we're at the 19-minute mark right here, and I still want to get through 3 other songs. But before we do that, we do need to take a break and talk about our sponsors. And if you guessed it, our sponsors are marinacityband.com. That's right. At marinacityband.com right now, you can go shop and get a bunch of new merchandise. In fact, we have some really cool items that I'm really stoked about. One is that we are selling a baby blue 1978 World Tour parody shirt that has a awesome little whale from I'm So Broke song. If you buy that baby blue t-shirt, all profits go to the hurricane victims of the Southeast that have experienced some terrible, terrible loss, terrible tragedies in the last couple months. So please, please, please go check out marinacityband.com/shop. Pick yourself up one of those t-shirts, look good, and fix the world by doing it. On top of that, we have a brand new hat that I'm actually really stoked about. It's not this one. I should have actually worn it if I was smarter, but it's one of my favorite pieces of merchandise that we got. It's a Reflections hat. It's got the broken disco ball all stitched up right on the hat. It's got that, it's a trucker hat kind of thing. It's got that mesh on top of it. It fits really well. Go check it out at marinacityband.com/shop. On marinacityband.com, you can also check out our Discord, where we have a wonderful community from people all over the world that are talking about all different kind of things. Of course, Marina City, because why not? But on top of that, we have a channel called the album reviews and album club, where we talk about different albums that we're listening to. We have a vent channel if you have something that you want to get off your chest, but you need a safe space to do it. We also have a Feeling Better channel, which if you want to be proud of, if you're proud of something that you want to talk about, it's a great way for you to just talk to a bunch of strangers turned friends about the cool things that are happening in your life. Of course, we also have our events page, our live page, so you can find out where we're playing near you. We are booking a bunch of shows right now, working on that. So go to there. And on top of that, hit us up and text us at 815-406-6209. That's 815-406-6209. Text us anything you want, but make sure you text us your name and your zip code. And maybe like, hey, this is a cool idea for your podcast. Maybe I want to hear this song the next time you guys play. Maybe it's, hey, you need to come to my city because I think it would be super dope. Whatever it is, make sure you guys text us at 815-406-6209 with your name and zip code. Now, let's get to these next songs right here. So Tanzanite is the second song off this EP, and it's the first song that we released from this EP. Is there a reason why we released this song first? Do you guys remember why we released this song first?
Well, it was the first one done.
It was, yeah. It was?
Yeah, but simultaneously, I'm So Broke.
I was going to say, yeah, we had I'm So Broke in there too. We were deciding between those two.
Yeah.
I mean, there's bigger reasons why, but
yeah. I felt like the big reason why we really wanted to release this one was that it was a statement song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, hey, attitude is here.
Yeah.
We got some shit to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to kick you in your teeth.
For sure.
And remember who the fuck Marina City is.
Energy, baby.
Well, especially who the F Marina City is as the three of us.
Yeah, as Marina City. Yeah.
Who the effing heck we are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like, I think when we're talking, we're writing music right now, we're going and we're saying like, okay, based off of Tanzanite.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if you like Tanzanite, we got plenty of stuff that we're really building off of that. If you don't like Tanzanite, well,
get the fuck away.
There's a bunch of old music you can listen to.
If you like Tanzanite, you're gonna love. I don't know.
It's become kind of our template for writing music now.
Yeah, I feel like Tanzanite and I'm So Broke. Well, that's our line. It's like Tanzanite's over here and I'm So Broke's here, and everything fits in the middle from over there.
Yeah, yeah.
But Tanzanite, we talked about in the last podcast that it was so easy to write.
It was.
We have like literally Eric walked out the room. Toto and I finished the chorus and an idea of it as he's walking out to his car, and then we're like, "Hey, Eric, you got to come back. We got to work on this." And the next time we worked on it, we basically finished the song right there. But
it's my fault I stifle creativity.
Yeah, we just needed the drummer out. But with this song,
this is what Marina City sounds like as the two of us.
Tanzanite is an angry song again, but also a question like what happened? Like where did I I think that sometimes with breakups or whatever, there's always this anger that someone did something wrong, like you mentioned earlier. But again, this EP is called Reflections, and it's reflecting like, wait, was there a problem for a long period of time? Like, is that what this is? And it feels like forever that there was something beautiful. So I think that with Tanzanite, it's really nice to be able to sing something that feels like a confession while also feeling like, I'm sorry, I missed it. And I'm sorry that that it wasn't as great for you as it was for me. And I wish that it was as good as you wanted it to be. And I don't know where it ended or where it missed that. And I don't know what that line was, but at some point it was crossed and it just felt like it couldn't go back to it. And I think that everyone can feel that in some way. And the one thing that I will say is, you know, my wife and I, and I'm sure you guys been in long-standing relationships. You guys fight. There's fights all the time. But we fight because we care. You know, and I feel like I never wanted to fight, but I should have said something, and I feel like it's really important to always say something and not because that one fight you didn't have, one argument you didn't have that maybe you finally could have said what you needed to say, and you didn't do it, and it was never said. Maybe that could have been something that could have been fixed. Now I'm not saying do it in a hasty way, but maybe that could have been, maybe that conversation, communication. Yeah. Hidden gems don't shine. Personally, one of my favorite lyrics on there, which feels like a narcissistic thing to say. But I really like that lyric because I think that sometimes you forget that what you have is awesome. And maybe it's not always shown. And it could, but that's the hidden gem. It's your secret. It's your thing. You know. Anything you guys wanted to add to Tanzanite?
I mean, it's a lot of thematically similar things to Who Are You Now? It's just the less angry version and the more, like, to me, I feel like Who Are You Now is the initial impact of, you know, the dissolving of any kind of relationship. And then Tanzanite is the reflection of yourself and your shortcomings maybe. And how could you have done things different? Yeah. How could they have done things different? Is there some alternate reality path, alternate universe path that could have been taken? Yeah, some multiverse where.
Well, you know, like the verses are kind of like shocked.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe this, and then the choruses are like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
everything was there.
All the signs were there.
Yeah.
And Tanzanite, for those at home that don't know what that is, it's a sort of diamond. It's a jewel that is more expensive than diamonds, but they're so much more easier to break. And for me, I felt like, you know, diamonds build under pressure, but we may have had something more valuable and pressure broke it. So we're already getting to the 30-minute mark. So do you guys want to just make it a longer episode, or do you want to take
part 2, dude?
Part 3.
Part 3.
Part 3.
Part 2.5.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go part 3. So you guys heard half of Reflections, part with Who Are You Now and Tanzanite. The next part of Reflections is going to be about I'm So Broke and Stay. So make sure you guys subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure that you guys click the notification button. Make sure you guys text us. Make sure you guys do all, you know, there's a bunch of stuff you guys got to do. Watch the end credits right here. We talk about it here. If you guys are listening to it on Spotify, thank you guys so much. Please go stream Reflections. It means the world to us, and we cannot wait for you to hear Reflections Volume 2. You guys have a wonderful day, and thank you guys for stopping by. Adios.
Bye.
Bye-bye.